it comes around thick and fast, my friends. The Grammys are back. The discourse is back. The arguments are back. The debates, they're back too. It is the Grammy nominations for the 2024 Grammys. I'm a little late to reacting to this actually, as they decided this year to drop it on a Friday night, which I don't think they've ever done, especially since the time I've been doing these videos on this channel. I don't think they've ever done it on a Friday, and I was busy last night. I was at a Jessie Ware concert actually. It was a great time. It was a great show. She was a brilliant performer, really funny, dropped in these really great little ad-libs as well. What a great person she is. She's so funny, and yeah, it was a great time. I just didn't have time to do a video on this while also going to that gig, because how could I possibly? And in a just world, speaking about Jessie Ware, would segue into the Grammys because she would be nominated in a just world, but she isn't. No, she isn't. So that wasn't a very good segue, and all it did was make me sad. And that's also not going to be a segue for me to go on to a rant about the Grammys. I do it every year, or I have done too many times on this channel. Other channels have done a decent job of talking about the history of the Grammys and a lot of the issues that they've had, not even just in terms of like the opinions of the Grammys, but like a lot of like racial issues that have been pretty well documented over time as well. And yeah, I'm not even going to go into all of that. I do it every year. It's boring at this point. Some other channel will do a good job of that, and I'm sure you'll find it somewhere else. We all know what we think of the Grammys. It's just a bit of fun, I suppose. If we treat it as that, maybe we have a better time. But regardless, here it is. This is the 2024 Grammy nominations list, and I'm just going to kind of go through each category and give my thoughts on each one. And yeah, enjoy the video. Hopefully you subscribe as well, because if you haven't already, there's lots of content on this channel. I always talk about all kinds of music, so if you've never checked out any of my videos before, please do. I'm sure you'll get something out of at least one of them. And yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments on these Grammy nominations. Let's not waste any time. Let's just go. This year is like no other year. You've got some visuals to go alongside this video, my friends. I've never done it before on this channel. And yeah, we've upgraded. We're doing things that every other channel has been doing for 15 years. So if that's not a reason to call me the GOAT, I don't know what is. Let's go into it then. We're going to go straight down. Let's get up past all the ads and stuff. Why is this all here? Please go away. Please go away. Record of the year. Let's stop there. Record of the year. Okay, we got What Was I Made For? Billie Eilish. This was a shoo-in. I saw loads of rumours about this one being mentioned. Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius is cool to see. Jon Batiste. They're really trying to make Jon Batiste a thing, aren't they? Worship. Miley Cyrus, Flowers. Olivia Rodrigo, Vampire. Kill Bill, SZA. Anti-Hero, Taylor Swift. And Victoria Monet, On My Mama. That's a bit of an outside shout, that one. I listened to that album. I thought it was pretty good, actually. Just would never guess that that was going to be anywhere near the Grammys in any kind of way. Yeah, I mean, most of these pretty much make sense. They were either some of the biggest songs of the year, or they have a quality to them that just feel very much like the Grammys would like. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty okay category. Like, I'm not really screaming out in defense of any one of these tracks. I get that Kill Bill and Anti-Hero were huge, so, you know, they're going to obviously recognize those in some capacity, but I don't think either of those should be in this category, honestly. They're not that good. Flowers got a bit stale after hearing it a lot, but I get it. Vampire, I see the vision as well. I think the two best tracks, honestly, here are What Was I Made For and Not Strong Enough, to be honest with you. And I would guess, given how many times Billie has been in this nomination, like nominated for this category, and also won in this category, I would probably say she's going to take it. I think she's going to take it. If I were picking, though, I'd say Boy Genius. Okay, let's move on then to the big one, Album of the Year. So we've got Boy Genius again. Pretty cool to see that in there. Janelle Monáe, Age of Pleasure. We're going to get back to that one in a minute. Jon Batiste, World Music Radio. Lana Del Rey, Did You Know? Blah, blah, blah. Miley Cyrus, Endless Summer Vacation. Olivia Rodrigo, Guts. SZA with SOS. And then Taylor Swift, Midnight. Of course, with all of these awards, we're just going to see the same artists kind of repeated over and over again. Because I guess if they're in the big categories, they're going to be in all of the big categories, if you will. But some of these, man, this is kind of a boring list, I'm not going to lie. Like Endless Summer Vacation. Who heard that album in full and thought that was absolutely worth being in this list? Like even the disparity between like all of the streams that Flowers got and every other track. And I'm not trying to say music is all about streams, but it's a popularity contest with the Grammys, and there's some tracks that didn't even like touch 100 million streams. In fact, some of them are like really low. And you know, Flowers is basically the one track that carried that whole album. I don't think really people are listening to the whole thing. It wasn't a particularly summery, fun album either. Miley Cyrus just isn't deserving of being here. I find this one really odd. I think Scissor's fair. Scissor SOS, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but I think it's pretty good. The Boy Genius album is good as well. I actually think that's a nice one to see here. Of course, they've gained a lot of traction over the past couple of years, so yeah, they're a nice addition to the list. Now, Janelle Monáe is the one I wanted to get to because I can't believe this is here. This wasn't even mentioned in any of the rumours, like all of the albums that everyone was expecting to see. It wasn't even brought up. Like it just didn't have any hype around it in regards to the Grammys. So this is a wild one to see there. It's definitely her worst album. I like to see that Janelle is in this category again. But when you think of how good those first two albums were, and there wasn't even a single nomination anywhere for any of those first two albums, it is a bit mad to see. Just didn't think it would make it on this year. A lot of people are talking about Foo Fighters. Now, I'd have much preferred to see Foo Fighters here over Miley Cyrus. I think that's a pretty poor omission, to be honest with you. I thought it was a very good album this year. They are a very popular rock band, and yeah, it was rumoured to be in this category. So yeah, a bit of a shame, that one. I just think most of this list is like decent. Like the highest you get with any of these albums is decent. I thought Guts was decent. I thought Lana Del Rey's album was decent. I totally get that I'm in the minority with that Lana album. I know people absolutely love it, but I think she just runs those albums on way too long. A lot of the tracks end up sounding the same. She did the same with NFR2. I just personally don't see how those albums in full are worthy of being considered that great when they just feel so long. And then yeah, Midnights may end up winning this actually. You know what, I would not be surprised to see Midnights win this. I would not be surprised to see Guts win this. What am I rooting for? I don't really know. Nothing here is standing out to me as an album that I absolutely adore to the point where I'd love to see it win. Yeah, I don't really mind. I'm just going to move on to Song of the Year now. So, we got Billie Eilish, What Was I Made For Again, Dua Lipa, Dance the Night, Jon Batiste, Butterfly, Lana Del Rey, A&W, Miley Cyrus, Flowers, Olivia Rodrigo, Vampire, Kill Bill, Anti-Hero. Some tracks are just repeating again here. Some artists are repeating. You get it. You get the gist. Again, a pretty boring list, I'm not going to lie. This isn't a great list at all to me. I also do want to point out though that a lot of people don't seem to know the difference between Song of the Year and Record of the Year. It's actually a pretty simple distinction. Just in case you're not sure, I thought it'd be worth bringing it up here. But Record of the Year goes to the song, like the composition of the song, and it'll go to the artist who performed it and then the producer who produced it, and all those people get it. Song of the Year goes to the person that wrote the lyrics and then wrote the melodies. So, you know, if, for example, Taylor Swift won for Anti-Hero and she didn't write the song, it wouldn't go to her, for example. So say if I wrote Anti-Hero and I wrote the lyrics, because I'm just that great at writing, obviously, I would get that award, whereas Record of the Year would go to Taylor Swift. You get the distinction? A lot of people don't ever seem to know the difference. I thought it was worth bringing up anyway. Yeah. Take your pick. I don't really mind. Billie Eilish, pretty good. Dance the Night's a good tune. A&W was pretty good from the album too. I'm just like whatever about some of these picks, man. I don't know. It's just kind of boring this year. Best New Artist: Coco Jones, Gracie Abrams, Fred again, Ice Spice, Jelly Roll, Noah Kahan, Victoria Monet again, and then The War and the Treaty. Some of these actually aren't too familiar with, but the ones that I absolutely am aware of are the two that I think would probably deserve to win this. Fred again, I'd like to see win it, and then Ice Spice, I'd like to see win it. Victoria Monet wouldn't be a bad shout either, but I think it's probably going to go to Ice Spice, right? Okay, let's knock a few out quickly here. Best Pop Solo Performance: Billie Eilish again, I think she's probably taken quite a few of these awards. You know, she's popped up in so many of them. Paint the Town Red, Flowers, Vampire, Antihero. Oh, you know what? 4 of those songs have popped up in all the other categories so far. So maybe I shouldn't be too quick with that prediction. But I think in terms of vocal performance, you know, you wouldn't be too surprised to see that go to Billie Eilish, actually. Then we've got the duo performance, Labyrinth and Billie Eilish, Never Felt So Alone. Lana Del Rey and John Batiste, Candy Necklace. Miley Cyrus and Brandy Carlisle, 1,000 Miles. SZA and Phoebe Bridgers, Ghost in the Machine. Taylor with Ice Spice and Karma. No, that was not good enough to be on this list, man. Oh, just a really boring category for me. I don't really have much here that I care too much about. Best Pop Vocal Album, Ed Sheeran, Kelly Clarkson, Endless Summer Vacation, Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift. I'll give it Olivia Rodrigo, man. Get Ed Sheeran, come on, man. What are we doing? Okay, Best Dance. Look, let's run through these dance ones, because these I did see beforehand, actually, before I did this video. And some really cool ones here. We got Disclosure, Aphex Twin, James Blake, Romy and Fred again, and then Fred again with Skrillex and Floden with Rumble. Honestly, Fred again taking both of those, like either of those would be great to see. I think Strong is really good and Rumble is really good too. So yeah, interesting to see Fred again get such like recognition at the Grammys. Maybe I'm just crazy and I didn't see it coming and I'm foolish, but I didn't quite see it coming. Best Dance Recording, this is a rough list. I've seen this one too already. One in a Million with Bebe Rexha and David Guetta. Miracle with Calvin Harris and Ellie Goulding. Her vocals are terrible on that song, man. That is not a good song. Baby Don't Hurt Me, David Guetta again, Anne-Marie, Coi Leray, just one of the laziest samples that you will hear, and interpolations you will hear. Oh my gosh. And then the last two save it a little bit, Padam Padam and Rush, which I do think are both, you know, very solid tracks. Padam Padam especially is a good song. Yeah, I'd really like to see Kylie take that. I don't know how she's fared up in the Grammys historically. Like, I don't know how many awards she's won. If she's even ever won any award, which is mad to think that she hasn't. But yeah, I would love to see that. I think this is a brand new addition to the Grammys this year. I don't think there's ever been Best Pop Dance Recording ever before. If Kylie Minogue was the first ever winner of that, that would be cool. Best Dance Electronic Music Album, we got James Blake, which was a solid album. Chemical Brothers, solid album. Fred again, very good album. Skrillex was very good as well. The only one I don't know here is the KX5 or K times 5. Not too familiar with that one. We'll probably have to check it out. For me, Fred again or Skrillex taking that would be great. They were both very good albums for me. And I think Fred again and Skrillex are probably the two favourites in this category, to be honest with you. Yeah, that would be cool. Let's get to the rock category. This is an absolute always nightmare of just Arctic Monkeys, Black Pumas, Boy Genius, Foo Fighters and Metallica. Now, if I'm not foolish here, I would have to say Boy Genius is gonna win this, because they were in the Song of the Year category or Record of the Year category. So I think if you're going to be in that one, you're basically considered the best of the bunch here, because none of those made it in that one, and that's one of the main categories. But yeah, either that or Foo Fighters I think would be good winners. I'm not going to lie, I actually haven't really kept up too greatly with some of these tracks in the metal performance, but I'm just going to say that Disturbed Badman is... I'm probably not going to like that song. Best rock song. Again, Boy Genius. Foo Fighters again. Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl, Olivia Rodrigo. Interesting that they have recognised the rock elements of that album, because it's all been in like the pop vocal performance stuff so far. But there were rock tracks on there, so that's interesting that they've done that. Usually they're a bit rubbish at kind of making those distinctions. Queens of the Stone Age, and then the Rolling Stones Angry track. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I kind of think that Angry track is a little fun. It's a bit cringe for sure. But yeah, again for me, Foo Fighters or Boy Genius to take the cake. I really do think that Foo Fighters album was very good. And yeah, again here it's popped up. Paramore, This Is Why. That's in the rock album category too. I think a lot of people will be probably rooting for that particular album to win. But I personally think Foo Fighters' album was better. I just do. I think it's the best album they put out in years. I think Paramore dropped a good album, but I think a lot of people saying it's their best are going way overboard. I think After Laughter is still their best. And I think This Is Why had some weak moments, to be honest with you. So yeah, I would take Foo Fighters in that category for sure. Best alternative performance though, Always, that's a cool one to see. Arctic Monkeys, Boy Genius again, Lana Del Rey again, Paramore, This Is Why, the title track. That wasn't even my favourite track from the album, so I wouldn't really want to see that win. But I think it's got a good chance of winning here. You've also got Lana in there too, who's in the main categories with A and W. So that's a really good shout. But Always with Belinda Says, that's my winner right there. How did that make it in here? That is wild. Alternative Music Album Awards. Arctic Monkeys, The Car, no thank you. Boy Genius, The Record, again. Cracker Island, Gorillaz, that was actually a decent album to be honest with you. Lana Del Rey, and then PJ Harvey, which I've not got around to listening to yet, so I can't comment on that one too much. I think in terms of a prediction, it's probably going to be Boy Genius or Lana Del Rey again. Okay, now let's get to the R&B section. You know what? We might just have to skim over this one because I haven't heard too many of these tracks or... Yeah, I haven't. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I haven't heard it. Right, let's get to the album section. Okay. Diddy with the Love album. Terrace Martin... I did want to check that out actually. I haven't listened to it yet, so I might have to do it now that I've seen it here. That's interesting. The Age of Pleasure, SOS, and then Black with Since I Have a Lover. Again, with the fact that you've got some of these already in the main categories, the prediction you'd have to go for here would be SZA. Best R&B album. Interesting how progressive R&B and R&B have become so distinct from one another that none of the picks have made it into each other's. I still don't know what they're trying to get at with progressive R&B. I don't fully get that one. Might have to Google that distinction because I still don't quite know. Let's go to rap though. I'm interested in the rap category here. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, The Hillbillies. I still think that's a great track, even though a lot of people are kind of mid on it now. Players, Coil Ray. Love Letter by Black Thought, that's a cool one. Rich Flex by Drake and 21. And then you've got the Killer Mike track, Scientists and Engineers. I was a little underwhelmed with that Killer Mike album, to be honest with you. For me here, I think Hillbillies is the best track, although what wins is probably going to be like Drake and 21, to be honest with you. Okay, then we've got Best Melodic Rap Performance, Burna Boy with Sitting on Top of the World, Doja Cat, Attention, Drake and 21, Spin About You, All My Life, Lil Durk and J. Cole. That song's super corny to me. And then Low by SZA. That song that I think actually will probably win here though is Lil Durk and J. Cole. I think it's got that kind of Grammy appeal to it. I just didn't get much from the kind of children's choir vocals. I found it really like a bit grating on the ears to listen to. And I don't necessarily dislike that kind of thing used in music, but I just think in the way they used it, I didn't think it was very good. Let's keep speeding on though. Best Rap Song, Doja Cat, Attention, Rich Flex, Scientists and Engineers again. Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi Vert. Okay, and then the Barbie World track from the Barbie album. Dare I say my favourite track here is in fact that Barbie World track. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know, but yeah, I could see Doja Cat winning this one. I think, you know, what they might do is give Drake and 21 one of them, and then give Doja one of them. Because I think they both pop up in the same one twice. Do they? Do they do that? Oh no, maybe they don't. Oh no. So maybe then they do. No, they do. They do. They both pop up in the same one twice. I think they're not gonna ignore Doja Cat. I think that Doja Cat will get one, and then Drake and 21 will get the other, basically. And then we'll just go down to rap album now. Her Loss, Michael, Heroes and Villains, King's Disease 3, and Utopia. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, actually. Utopia is here, but then it's not got any of the song categories. That's really odd. How did that not happen? Like, how did they not think of, like, nominating Meltdown? That's interesting. Anyway, Okay list. I think the best albums here probably are Heroes and Villains and Utopia. I wouldn't mind seeing Metro Boomin take this one, to be honest with you. I think that'd be a pretty cool win to see. Yeah, sure. Okay, I think I'm just going to call it there. I've gone down the other categories now. It's entering some categories that are a little more niche, and I listen to a lot of music per year. I do not exaggerate when I say that. I listen to a lot. But when it gets to some of those more niche categories, I'm not going to pretend that I've heard the albums, because I just haven't. There's a lot of them that I don't recognise. I don't really listen to contemporary Christian music very often, I'm not going to lie to you. So I would be wasting my time talking about those. But overall, I think a bit of a mixed bag. Like every time I got to a category, I kind of just looked at it and went, like in my mind, I was just kind of just going, yeah, okay. And then when I was speaking about some of them, I was just kind of like unfazed or unenthusiastic by them. Because I don't know, I think there's been some cool picks this year. I think there's been some interesting additions to the Grammys. But overall for me, it just feels like there's a spark missing. Like I don't think the albums or the songs that they've recognised are particularly that special or particularly that exciting. It's just a bit of a mixed bag. You know, talking about omissions or talking about you know, albums or songs I'd love to see. Like there's been some great music this year. You know, Caroline Polachek could have been in any of the categories. Jessie Ware, I mentioned at the start of the video, could have easily been in the categories. You've got Black Country New Roads' brilliant live album that they released. Again, could that have been somewhere? I don't know. We've got Gene Dawson in the rock categories, brilliant rock album from him. You've got Natalia Lafourcade as well, who always gets nominated in the Latin Grammys. Like there is a separate Grammys for the Latin music for some reason, and then they also have Latin music in the main Grammys. I don't really quite know why they do both, but she always wins awards at that one, and then she never gets nominated at the American Grammys. It's a little odd. I know some of these names are a little niche, but I just think if the Grammys did a little better at recognising all kinds of music and not just what topped the charts, like Miley Cyrus and SZA, and kind of did a broader generalization of music and recognized more. They kind of do sometimes, like with that Always Belinda Says nomination, but then they just do that once a year just to kind of tide people over and make some people happy, and then everything else just kind of gets left by the wayside. So if they did a better job of recognizing all music, maybe people's attitudes towards indie or obscure or niche music would change a little bit, and we'd have just a more exciting, diverse list of albums instead of just kind of boring picks that, you know, this was popular this year, let's just go for that. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on this. A bit of an underwhelming year. I don't really have that much to say because I just feel like it's pretty meh. Please tell me your thoughts if you've got more interesting thoughts than I do. Check out my other videos, subscribe, check out my Patreon as well if you're interested in donating to me over on there. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do have a good day and goodbye.